Alright, welcome to the next video. So in this one I'm going to be talking about why I stayed in China so long. As I mentioned in prior videos, during my first stint I was there 5 years, so September 4th, 2011 to September 8th, 2016. I'll talk about later on when I did my second stint in China, but let's just go with the first 5 years. So why did I stay there so long? Well, I mentioned before in another video where I was, my first impressions that first year and how I kind of got into a groove and things were all exciting and new and interesting. So I signed up for my second contract, which led to the third and the fourth and the final one for that first stint. There are a bunch of reasons why I decided to stay there so long. The first one was it's easy. After you teach for the first year, after you overcome language barrier issues, after you have an apartment, you make friends, you kind of get to know the lay of the land, maybe do a little traveling. You kind of get used to that, and it gets easier and easier because you've done it already a year, so you're going to run into the same kind of issues, you're going to know how to solve those, and your stress levels are going to be down, and you're kind of used to a pace of life. You don't have the same worries you had when you first got there. So it's the fact that it's easy to just stay. Second thing was you start saving money. Now, one of the things my buddy who helped me transition there said, because something I had asked him over years when I was considering going before I decided to go, was how much money can I save? And what he says I think still applies to this day no matter where you go. Your first year, you're going to have a lot of sunk costs. You're going to have to fly there. You're going to have to get an apartment, furnish it if it's not furnished, buy odds and ends. So you're dropping quite a bit of money when you first go there. Once you complete that first year, all those costs are gone. So all that money that you spent that first year, now you're saving it, plus now you know how the cost of things locally, where to go for your groceries, where to go to get the best prices on, let's say, electronics or shoes or other things. So those two things together help you save a ton of money the second year, which then carries over the third year, and you get better and better at budgeting and better at saving, and more frugal, because you realize I don't need to spend as much for these things when or these things I'm not interested in, or whatnot. So your saving rate goes up substantially after that first year. Third reason why I stayed there so long, I had a network of friends. People that I got along with, people I traveled with, people I worked with that I could go out and have a beer with, go out and watch a movie, vent about things, and just kind of hang out and enjoy each other's company. Same thing, I had dated a few different people my first couple years there, had a serious relationship. I think it was 2012 to about 2013 or 2014. So I had people I cared about and that I got along with that were there, so why would I want to leave them? I had roots. Fourth reason, I was doing something I enjoyed, and I know it's pretty low on the reason list, and not because it wasn't important, but it's just for the sake of the list. But it was also something that made it harder to want to leave. I really loved teaching. I loved helping people, develop their language skills and have fun while doing it, and hear about stories from students saying, hey, I was a college student, and my language skills have gotten so good I'm able to work at Caterpillar or John Deere, or I went from this job to this other job, thanks to this. So I felt I was contributing I was not only doing something I really enjoyed, but I was contributing to the betterment of other people's lives. Whether it was for something as trivial as, well, I want to be able to travel to a foreign country, or to something more life-changing like a career change, you know, or personal development. So I really felt I was in the right place. I was doing what I liked, and not even liked what I loved. So why would I want to give that up? Another reason was I knew what was waiting for me when I came back. I talked about, probably one of the first videos of the reason why I left, and how I felt unfulfilled, and if I went back to school, it was going to cost me, $50,000 to get an MBA, and it was something I wasn't interested in. I didn't have passion for. It was just for the flexibility of career choices. If I went back to my home country, I knew I'd have to start over. I knew, because I was in a completely different career, and that there would be some transition time, and people would be like, wow, you see the gaps in my resume. Well, you haven't been in country for X number of years. What have you been doing? And then I'd have to explain it, have to start at the bottom wherever I was. And I thought, why would I want to do that? I enjoy what I'm doing. I'm surrounded by people I care about and whose company I enjoy. Why would I give that up? Another reason was I got to travel a lot. After the first year, my travel schedule generally was travel to 4 different cities a year, if not more. Beijing was always accessible, so that was always thrown in there. So I was traveling more than 4 times a year because it was a 30-minute bullet train ride away. But as I mentioned before, I got to see Hangzhou and Xiamen and all these really, Shanghai, and all these really cool places in China, and it was always a great distress. If I was feeling a little stressed with work, and all right, I got to take a trip, take like 3-4 days, go to another city. It was very easy. Get on a plane, couple hours, boom, I'm there. Get on a train, 30 minutes, Beijing, boom, I'm there. And be a tourist in the country I lived in. Try new food, go to new museums, new sites, check out the nightlife, maybe buy some local souvenirs, and all sorts of things like that I kind of did here in the States before I went. I've traveled locally, but over there, like, cities were very different from each other, and I can go to areas where there was desert, and areas where there was grasslands, and mountains, and all sorts of things really cheaply, compared to my salary and cost of living, and more often than I could here. So it was, and since I was, one of the hobbies I developed while I was there was photography. It was great because I got to take these amazing pictures of all these different places I went to, and people, and food, and so on. So I didn't want to give that up. I could just, it was nonstop. And another, I guess that kind of sums up the major reasons why. It's just, you kind of get acclimated to a lifestyle, you do something you love, you just, you get into it, and you kind of don't, and things are good, and you're happy, and you don't want to let that go. So that's why I had stayed in China the first 5 years. Or, as the question started, why did I stay in China so long? All of those reasons. See you in the next video.